What is up, Internet Runners? Coach Nate here from The Run Experience. Today we are in for a treat because we are talking about something that I wish I had when I first started running and first started training for 5Ks, which was really an understanding of strength training and how important it is to build my body up so it could handle all the running that I wanted to do. You better believe that I made all the mistakes when I was a new runner. I ran too much, maybe I strength trained, I did the wrong stuff, I didn't know how to add it in the right way, and I suffered as a result, right? I dealt with a lot of injuries, I had a lot of interruptions in my training, and it was really tough. So today we're gonna talk about a lot of different things you can do to make sure that strength training is in your training and it's in the right way. But we're not gonna do it just from my lens, we're actually gonna do it from one of our new beginner runners lenses too. We're gonna check in with Catrin, we're gonna see how her training is going. She's training with us for a 5K later this fall. She's been dealing with some early signs of injury, so how we kind of navigate the roads of shin splints we'll talk about, as well as those key points on strength training. So stay tuned, it's gonna be a great video.
Here we are, doing our baseline workout. 30 minutes of running. I've not run since my 5K race in September, but it's feeling pretty good. The temperature is perfect and I'm about halfway through the workout. Whew. Hey guys, I just finished the interval session for the week and it was really tough and not super exciting, but I did it and now I'm going home to have some food. Hey everyone, I just finished today's strengthening workout. I usually do, or I try to do CrossFit for my strengthening, but it was cancelled today for various reasons. So I decided to do strength training from the 30-day challenge instead, and it was great. And now I'm going to do a little cool down jog combined with this week's drill session, which was focused on arm swings. So I did the arm swing drill and now I'm going to jog all the way home in the pouring rain with a little menace and focus on my arm swings. So that's the plan for now. I don't know why it's raining every single session I do these days, but it's only water, so not too much to worry about. Even though running is fun most of the time, not every single day is fun. And this is one of those days. All done. Time to head home. I just got back from my interval session outdoors and maybe some of you can relate, but I feel like my first few intervals look like this and then the rest of them look like this. And I kind of think and hope that I'm not alone in feeling that way, and when I noticed that that was what was going on, I just had to decrease the pace a lot, and I really wanted to focus on running properly, because running faster during the intervals but running with really poor form is not going to benefit me in any way in the future. So my intervals are really slow right now because I want to be able to complete all of them and I don't want to go out really strong and then look like that for the rest of them. So slow intervals, but at least I did them and that is a win for me. And now I'm going to do some stretching, some foam rolling, especially on my calves, and rub my shins a little bit extra so my shin splints might heal themselves sooner rather than later. Ow.
Well, Catrin, how was your first workout?
Tough, very tough. It was a kettlebell workout, my least favorite of all time, but it works, and it's definitely going to make me sore tomorrow, so yeah, it's good.
And just to set the scene, I know maybe some of your audience might know that you're going to do these workouts, but maybe explain that a little more and just a bigger picture of like where you're going and kind of what you're doing big picture.
Big picture is, my goal is always that I want to be able to run. That's my main focus. I want to be able to run. It doesn't necessarily have to be far or fast or anything like that. I just want to be able to run, and of course it's fun to have a goal in mind that actually gets you out running on the days where you don't really feel like running, especially in Sweden in November, February there. It's not very fun. But if I have a good goal in mind that I feel very passionate about, I get out running anyway, and that's a great way for me to deal with like seasonal kind of depression and those kind of mental health issues as well. So that's my main focus, to stay healthy both physically and mentally. And the CrossFit I'm doing on the side is basically because, well, it's a fun way of working out, and it's super effective. And when I go to the CrossFit gym to work out, someone is telling me what to do, and it's not really as confusing as going to the gym by myself to kind of figure out how to strengthen my body. So I really feel like the CrossFit gives me a all-around kind of strengthening program. It does,
and I was really excited to hear that you were going to a CrossFit gym. I've been coaching out of a CrossFit gym for the last 10 years, and so I'm just familiar with the toys you're playing with and the workouts you're doing. And there is, maybe, I don't know if you've ever picked this up on your side, but in the running world, CrossFit is still a little controversial. Some people, and I just want to bring this up just in case runners are curious about it, it can be seen as this very intense program that could potentially make you unsafe and lead to injury. And really what we're doing with Catrin is the opposite. We're trying to build her up and make her stronger so that she can handle the running safely. And the benefits that I love about a good CrossFit program when it's put together well is that you're working out with other people, because sometimes going to the gym by yourself, maybe you can do it for a couple weeks, but after that, it's just it's a different breed of person who likes that style of working out.
Yeah, and that's not me. It's
totally
not.
Right. So like the social aspect is good. There are times where you have a coach who's watching you, and that means that they are going to give you immediate feedback on your form and your technique. Can you go a little deeper in the squat? Oh, your back's a little rounded. How about we stabilize that spine a little bit better? And you can start to pick up and learn all these things, which makes you safer. And then there are times when your coach feels you're ready for it and they know you, they say, hey, like, let's pick up the pace a little bit, right? And we can get that a little bit too, right? So if it's done well, it can be this beautiful thing that really complements our running.
Yeah, exactly. And that's all the things you mentioned that's exactly what happened today. It was my first kettlebell workout, and I know I can like swing it around, but all these small details, like where to push from and what to do, like all of that, he was on me constantly. Do this, do that, do this, and it worked. I did feel safe doing it, because if I was doing it on my own, I would have no clue what I was doing. So I'm super happy with that, and it was a good workout. But I feel that I really need to get into it more, because I was totally out of breath and so tired. And
right. Now there are times where, and I also want to bring this up, in terms of strength training, like strength training doesn't have to be all or nothing either. Say you're traveling, say you don't have access to a CrossFit gym, or sometimes gyms are out of our budget, right? We just can't afford it for whatever reason. We don't have that access. There's plenty of things you can do just with your own body. Push-ups, squats, lunges. You can use a park bench. If you wanted to invest in, say, a yoga mat and one tool, you can make yourself pretty dangerous that way. So, bigger picture, that regular dose of strength training, I am really passionate about, because for us to be able to run well, we just need stronger bodies. And I really think in this day and age, where we're sitting a lot, and when we sit, we tend to get a little slumpy, and then we're on our devices even more. Like, this is the bodies that we've built to run, and in that context, it's like, well, no kidding, so many runners get injured all the time, and it's like we just need to build a body that's stronger that can then handle the miles. And I find getting that in, beg, borrow, or steal, however you want to do it, but trying to get that into your week is so key.
And I've noticed now, as my followers have kind of accumulated into my group, and we had a little like presentation thing where you share where you're at and all of that stuff, then I can see that a lot of people have started running, got sick or got injured, and then they have to start over now, but I don't think they're prepared to do anything differently this second time around. They're not thinking that. They're thinking that, oh, this injury or this like cold I caught, that's just by chance. And now I'm going to repeat, and they're going to end up in the same place again, which I have done so many times. So I know that the first time I did it, it didn't matter how much people told me strength training. You have to incorporate strength training into your routine or else you're going to get injured. I was like, maybe. Yeah. So I'm not sure how to communicate the importance of strength training to those who have not yet experienced the injuries and not being able to run or fulfill your goals.
You know, what I found is that it's helpful to like think bigger picture. You collectively as runners is like, well, what's our goal with this? And if our goal with this is greater health, empowerment, enjoyment of lifestyle, lowering depression, increasing confidence, none of those work well when the body is rebelling against you, right? You can't even stay in it long enough. Right now we have this mental model where I'm just going to run and I'm only going to do something else if something is wrong with my running, right? If I'm hurt, that's only when I'm going to not run and do something else. And I think for a certain slice of runners, they have been able to get away with that. And I find, not to go too deep down the rabbit hole, but I find that there is this survivorship bias of really experienced runners out there who are now the experts these days. And they're like, well, I've just been running for 20 years without doing anything else and I didn't get injured, so you should just follow my model. And you're like, that may be true for you, but what about the hundreds if not thousands of runners who you grew up running with who aren't there anymore because they didn't get hurt? So we need to, when we take their advice, we also need to take the advice of people who didn't make it. Right, and we need to find a model that works collectively for us. When I think of running, running is an expression of being a strong, empowered human. But let's talk about other things that make us strong, empowered humans that also make running easier. And that's where strength is not separate from running. I don't do it when something is wrong. I do it because this is a necessary ingredient in 21st century living. Like occasionally I need to go out and get some sunshine because if I don't, that leads me down a dark road.
Yeah, and I mean, it's probably a symptom of the time as well, as you said, with the sitting in front of the computer and all that. Maybe before we got more natural strength training in our everyday life, but now there's absolutely nothing. There are not even stairs we're walking up anymore.
And I actually love this example, and I do want to get into other aspects of your training, but we're kind of hitting on the strength piece, which is perhaps a fitting way to begin. Catrin, have you ever read or heard of the book Boys in the Boat?
No.
It's this English book or book from the US that was written about the 1936 Olympic rowing team from the University of Washington that basically won Olympic gold in like Hitler's Germany. So it's this like big like David versus Goliath type story. And what I picked up in the book was really interesting. At the time, early on, again, this is like 1930s, the coach said to all of his rowers, he says, hey, look, during rowing season, I only want you to row. I don't want you to do anything else whatsoever. It can only be rowing or it can only look like rowing. And you're like, oh, that is a principle of specificity that we hear with runners. If you want to run better, you just need to run more and just do more, like don't do all the other stuff. But what was interesting was the context of that message in 1936 versus the context of that message in 2019. And when you follow these guys' stories, you're like, oh, this guy was literally a lumberjack all summer. He walked 10 miles a day. He was literally cutting trees down, fishing for his own meals. Like, this guy was built and strong as an ox. Yeah, in that context, super athletic, fit dude, yeah, it makes sense to like cut back on the other stuff and only row. But right now, what's interesting is that our bodies have become gooey blobs collectively because of just our life. We don't have the same physical demands, and now but we still have the same message of specificity. And that's where, for me, it's like, okay, this is where we're missing things now.
Yeah.
So it's a good book, Poison the Book.
Yeah.
You should read it.
Makes sense. Yes.
As you can see, Catrin is making great progress in her training because she doesn't have to search, spending a lot of time for other strength exercises online, knowing if they're the right things to do to add into her training, because it's all in one place in our training app. And if that sounds good to you, well, you can go ahead and download our app after this video and start training with us as well. We've got tons of free workouts, strength exercises, the mobility run form, all the things you need to do as a new runner to make that 5K the best experience possible and to really enjoy running, because no one wants to run when their body hurts. That's not the point of this. The point is to build a body up so that you feel really good doing this. You can accomplish your 5K and you can accomplish even more. So guys, I'm gonna keep filming, maybe get some strength myself outside on this beautiful place, and I'll see you in the next video. Is my beard all in focus, or is it a little blurry? I don't think I'm ready to talk yet.